What's up? I hope you're doing great. I am not going to say welcome back because that is what I say on 300 other videos. So I'm not going to say that. However, I am going to say that the ultimate appointment booking formula that I created, powered by the TRIZ method, the Trust Rapport Influence Sales method, is by far the easiest appointment booking method that I've ever tried. It is absolutely the most simplistic way to do it. There's 5 steps. The trust base opener, how we open the conversation. What do we use? A familiar tone? Do we use a lost and curious tone? Are we going to have some paper in our hand and say, hey, I was just going through some notes. I was going through your tax records, right? I was looking at your expired listing, right? There's multiple ways to open it up. When I was looking at the notes from the open house and you have that little crinkle of paper, trust base openers. Okay. We're not talking about the weather. We're talking about them, right? We're getting them curious or slightly excited, not overly excited, slightly excited to have a conversation with us. Second part, the overarching goal is where you are asking them what caused them to reach out. What caused you? Hey, I was just curious. What made you want to come into the open house that I was holding open? I was at the house with the, it had that big elephant statue up front and that really cool backyard that was on the golf course. They'd got that huge waterfall. What made you want to come and take a look at that property? Just remind me here real quick. Okay. Overarching goal. What caused them to raise their hand? Hey, I was just curious, what even made you want to get that home valuation in the first place? I mean, I'm not even sure we could possibly help you yet, and let them talk. The third part, right? I told you it's 5 easy steps. The third step is what? Probe and clarify. You don't understand as much as you think you do just off of them saying, we want a bigger home. The everyday average agent, right? The one that's going to do 3 to 4 sales a year and go out of business, unfortunately, it's sad, right? I am sad about that. That's why we created TRIZ. That's why I spent 2 years of my life creating this program. The probing and clarifying is where you are going to get the prospect, right? You are going to get the prospect to actually share with you more of the pain of where they're at, right? Let's say this crystal right here, this quartz crystal is where they're at, but they want to go to the gold, right? They want to go to the gold. So they're here and we want to get to here. So tell me, like, what would be different about this house versus this one that you're currently in? What would be different about this neighborhood versus this neighborhood? Tell me, how would it feel if you guys actually, you said that your kids are on top of each other? What do you mean? Like you guys just pile them into a drawer and stack them like shirts? No. Like we have our daughter who's now 14. She spends 2 hours in the bathroom. And we have our son who's 12 who also needs to use the restroom, and they fight. So if we could have a new home with another bedroom, I wouldn't have to hear them screaming and fighting. Oh, how long has that been going on for? Since they were 8 and 10. Hold on, my math isn't good. How old was your daughter again? For the last 4 years? This has been going on for 4 years? Probing, right? You're taking the cut and you're putting a little bit of salt on it, and then you're clarifying that this is a problem. Well, what would life be like if you had the gold house? Right? We want to probe and clarify. What happens, one of our calls we reviewed yesterday for our 3.0 and our inner circle clients, one of the women that was on the call, she said that my husband and I both have this eye degeneration thingamabopper happening. So we both have daughters from previous lives and we both want to live with our daughters. And that's a big problem because they're arguing about it. And so what would life be like if you lived with her? What would life be like if you lived with the other one, right? You can help them to talk things out that they're not doing with their spouse, right? Probing and clarifying. The fourth is the game plan frame. The game plan frame sets up the appointment booking. The game plan frame is the simplest form to set up the appointment booking. You can use it in open houses, expires. You can use it at the bar. You guys, I used it with probably you, or my sales team used it with you. There's a variation of it. It's, why don't we so that I? Why don't we so that I? Why don't we so that I? It's early here, y'all. Why don't we so that I? Right? Why don't we sit down so that I can educate you? Now, there's a formula that I give you inside of the ultimate appointment booking formula. So this is just the very watered down version. And then the fifth is, how do you actually set the appointment in a non-salesy way? Because believe it or not, I've heard the greatest calls, and then you get to the appointment booking. And at the appointment booking, the agent creates resistance. You did a perfect call, and then you created resistance at the end. So that's your 5-step formula: trust-based opener, overarching goal, probe and clarify, game plan frame, booking the appointment. That's your 5 steps, right? Now, you might have some objection handling involved in there as well, correct? But the formula is those 5 steps, and then you have to know how to handle the objections using the DHIS method, which I created too. So there's a lot of different formulas that we use, but the ultimate appointment booking formula, 5-step formula inside of Triz, inside the school portal, right? It is the absolute phenomenalist, most greatest, most you name it way to book an appointment in today's market. So if you don't use it and you're not going on 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 appointments a week, don't say you need more leads. Don't blame the market. It's literally the one thing you need to do right now.